What's up, guys? I'll just wait for a couple minutes so that people can hop in. Once you're here, just say hi. I'll just wait for a few minutes so that people can hop in and they'll get the notification. Today's guest, just to give you a brief, hey Rachel, his name is Connor Christian. He's from the Southern Gothic. They're an amazing band based in Nashville. They're a country rock amazing band, so make sure to check it out. Their EP, Burning Moonlight, is out now. It's available on all streaming platforms, so check that out. And while you're there, make sure to follow their artist page so that you don't miss out on any further releases and you'll be the first one to get notified. I'll just wait for them to get on and I'll add Connor. If you have any questions, do drop them in and we'll maybe answer a few of them. How are you guys doing? Where are you guys tuning in from? I'll just send this to Connor. How was your weekend, guys? What did you guys do? I mean, the weekend is just starting. How was your week? There's a lot of good releases that got released today, which is amazing. Do you have a favorite? I'll just wait for Connor to get in. Thank you. I've just sent him the live, so he must be here any minute. So we'll just give him a couple minutes to hop on and let's just get started. And see them. Hey,
Hey there, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing okay. I'm just trying to get this tripod to work for me here.
That's okay. But firstly, welcome to India.
Yeah. All right. How are you? There we go.
Are we good?
Yeah. You doing all right?
Awesome. So first, welcome to India. It's amazing to have you on.
Wonderful to be
Thank
here.
you so
Thank
much.
you for having me.
Of course, of course. Okay, so before I get into your amazing music, I've been listening to Burning Moonlight and the New Hometown for a while now. But whenever, like, the minute Rachel introduced me to you guys. So before we get into all that good stuff, would you want to introduce yourself for people tuning in from here, where you're from, and all that good stuff?
Absolutely. Yeah. My name's Connor Christian.
Christian.
I sing for a band called
I
the
sing
Southern
for a band
Gothic.
called the Southern Gothic.
We're based in Nashville, Tennessee, here in the U.S.
Here in the U.S.
We've been together since about
Been together since
2005.
about 2005.
You know, we've been
That's
we've
amazing.
done almost 2,000 shows together. So,
2,000 shows together. So.
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. That's incredible. Okay, I want to talk to you about the touring and all that stuff. But how did you get into music in the first place?
It's tough to say. I
never really even considered
honestly.
anything else, honestly.
It was
Did you-
always from the time I was in elementary school. I was sure that's what I wanted to do, and so made plans and started working on it.
That's amazing. Do you have siblings that are into music as well, or you're
My
the only one?
Yeah, no, my older brother is a really good guitar player and singer. He never really wanted to do it for a living.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm seeing in the comments here we're getting some echo. Should I maybe turn on some
Yeah.
headphones? Let me give me 5 seconds. I'm gonna grab my headphones and maybe that'll help us kill the
Sure,
echo.
sure, sure.
I'll be right back.
Thank you for letting us know. If you guys have any questions for Connor, please leave them in the comment section and we'll get to a few of them.
Okay. I'm hoping that'll be a little better.
Are we better, guys? Please let us know.
All right.
So you were saying, yeah.
So yeah, my older brother was a really good guitar player, really good singer. Didn't really want to do it for a living, but I watched him playing guitar, and that was really my earliest inspiration. He's a lot older, 12 years older. So
Wow, that's amazing. And what kind of music did you grow up on?
I was all over the place. I was a lot of 50s and 60s rock and doo-wop was definitely my my earliest loves.
Mm-hmm.
So old
That's
Motown and things like that.
That's amazing. And before Southern Gothic, you were in a lot of different bands. So what was your role in those bands? Like, were you the lead singer, lead guitarist? What were you?
I was always the lead singer. I didn't start playing guitar in the bands until the Southern Gothic. Before
Wow.
I just sang.
What kind of bands were they? Like, were they fully rock? What kind of style of music were they playing?
Yeah, I definitely started off in the more rock heavy category, and then it just started drifting toward country. We the band I was in right before Southern Gothic was called Princess. It was a very like piano rock band. We were very Elton John sort of style.
Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. And coming to Southern Gothic, like, can you walk us through the whole formation? How did you guys meet? How did you come up with the name and all that good stuff?
Yeah. So honestly, we met. Most of the guys that started Southern Gothic with me were in that band Princess that I just mentioned, and we kind of made a conscious decision to move into the country world. And during university, Southern Gothic literature was really my favorite. Tennessee Williams, Harper Lee, that kind of stuff. And so, that whole Southern Gothic thing really was my identity at university. And so I did, when we made the band, I thought it would be a cool name. We actually had an album that was called Southern Gothic first, and then we changed the name of the band to that.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. That's awesome. And all of y'all are based in Nashville right now? The whole band is based in Nashville?
Except for the drummer, he's still in Atlanta where we started out. He plays in several different bands, so he travels to Nashville to be with us.
Mm-hmm. Oh, when did you move to Nashville? Because you're growing up, you were in all different kinds of countries, and so when did you finally settle down?
2015 is when I moved to Nashville. So I've been there just a little over 6 years now.
6 years. That's amazing. That's amazing. Okay, so coming to your original music as Southern Gothic, let's start off with the EP Burning Moonlight. That's a solid set of songs. So how did that EP come to life, and can you walk us through the whole process of that?
Sure. Actually, that one came together differently than just about any of the other records have. Looks like comments are saying still getting echo.
Are we still echoing?
Trying to figure out if I could fix it. All of the other records we've ever done have kind of been written on the road, and we've road tested them, tried them out, and figured out exactly how we wanted to do them. With Burning Moonlight, it was different. We weren't on the road. We hadn't been touring for a while. We hadn't been playing together for a while, and so I'd written all these songs, and we went into, you know, we got everybody back together and went in the studio to record them, having really like never played them before. So this was a very experimental record for us. That's how we ended up making such a big sonic difference. We're so, you know, so many more like electronic elements in this record than there's been in the previous records. And so yeah, this was a chance for us to experiment.
That's amazing. Were you the writer on all the songs?
Yeah, yeah.
That's awesome. So do you write with the band as well?
Sometimes Quinn, our bass player, is one of my co-writers. He wrote Villain with me.
Mm-hmm.
But the rest of the guys don't. They're not really big writers. That's not really their thing. They spend their time honing their individual craft. I got the best drummer,
That's
I got the
true.
bass player, best band in the country. But you know that they're very specialized.
I love that. I love that. I love that. How did you guys come up with the name Burning Moonlight for the EP?
It was actually just it was a line from Past Midnight. It's a real common phrase in the States. I don't know if you guys say it, but if people are wasting time and you're working, you say, hey man, come on, we're burning daylight. We got to go. We're doing it.
Yes.
So it was the same idea, but when you're sitting there at a bar talking to somebody trying to make a connection and it's taken a while and it's night. So Burning Moonlight is how I ended up with that line. And I thought
That's
it was cool, visual idea. So I made it the album title.
That's awesome. Okay, I love all the songs, but my favorite has to be Villain. That song is on repeat for a while.
Love it. I love it. I love that song so much, and it really gave us a chance to kind of do like the big rock band sound. So that was I love that song too.
Yeah. And would you want to perform any song for us? Let's hear it.
Yeah, absolutely. You want me to do Villain since you like that one?
Yes, please. I would.
All right, I'm going to have to take the headphones off because it won't pick up the guitar. All right, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to grab this guitar. You know we're over, baby. Why can't you let it go? We keep starting over and it's really starting to take its toll. I wanna see you smiling, even if it ain't with me. Don't wanna be the bad guy. That's what I gotta be. Tried to be your hero, tried to be your Superman. Honey, if I can't love you, then maybe there's someone else that can. If it takes me losing just so you can end up winning, if you need someone to take the blame, girl, I'd be your villain. I'd be your villain. Love ain't a railroad track. I'm trying to tie you down. How can we start moving on if you keep stopping by my house? Wish we were like a movie with a happy end, but this is real life, baby. We ain't getting it back again. Tried to be your hero, tried to be your Superman. Honey, if I can't love you, then maybe there's someone else that can. If it takes me losing just so you can end up winning, if you need someone to take the blame, girl, I'll be your villain. We try to treat a dead end like an endless road. Honey, I can't help but love you. That's why I gotta let you go. Tried to be your hero, tried to be your Superman. And if I can't love you, then maybe there's someone else that can. If it takes me losing just so you can end up winning, if you need someone to take the blame, girl, I'll be your villain. I'll be your villain. Yeah, yeah. If it takes me losing just so you can end up winning, I'll be your villain. If it takes me losing just so you can end up winning, I'll be your villain. Yeah, 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 I'll be your villain. Yeah, yeah, I'll be your villain.
Yay! Thank you so much for performing that.
Absolutely, happy to do
it's
it.
awesome to see you perform live. Hopefully, in person comes soon.
Yeah, we can't wait. Finally, world's starting to open back up. So maybe next year we'll get to do some touring outside of the U.S. I'm excited.
Hopefully. I mean, India is still under lockdown. We're slowly lifting the restrictions. Yeah, hopefully we are back to normal as well. But how was it to release such an amazing EP during, the pandemic? Like, you guys couldn't tour, everything was shutting down. So how was the challenges and how did you overcome those?
Yeah, for sure. It was frustrating. We had planned to release it in May, and then we planned to release it in October, and finally in December we're just like, just put it out, even if we can't tour behind it. So, but it was frustrating not to be able to tour behind it and not to be able to tour before recording it, because we, it's always nice to be able to work the songs out on the road. And, I sent you the new version of the single. It's so different from the album. But that's what
it sounds incredible.
It. So we decided to. It's nice to get out on the road and be able to try new things and try different versions.
It sounds incredible. So thank you so much for sending me that.
Yeah, of course.
And coming to New Hometown, you have like 19 songs on that album, if I'm not wrong, right?
20,
so how did you choose to put out 19 songs, and what were you going through? Like, was that like a band decision? Like, how did that come about?
Yeah, the guys are good about just, I just say, hey, we're going to do this thing. And they're like, all right, cool, let's do it. They're always on board. But with that record, we'd actually released it as 2 EPs on our own without a record label. And then the record label was called New Hometown Part 1 and Part 2. And then the record label picked it up, put it together. And we added the cover song, the Guns N' Roses song, on there as like a bonus track for people who already had both records. So that's how that giant record came together. It was really 2 records that got smushed together into one.
Wow, that's amazing. That's awesome. And coming to future releases, like, what do you have planned? When can we expect more music from you guys?
So as we've been kind of going through this record, we've been featuring a different track every month or two. And as I've been doing that, I've been recording acoustic and alternate versions. So I think that in August or September, we're going to release Burnin' Moonlight acoustic and all 6 acoustic versions. The last song on the record, Gravity, my friend LP Shane wrote with me, and he's got a song that's in the top 10 right now called My Boy. It's a really big hit on country radio right now. So he's going to come in and do. Fingers crossed, he's going to come in and sing that song with me for the acoustic EP, and we'll get that out in the fall, and then next year we'll put out a new, I don't know, EP, LP, I'm not sure, something. We'll put something out next year before we get over to Europe.
That's amazing. That's awesome. Okay, coming to songwriting, like, how did that begin for you? How did the whole songwriting journey begin for you?
Ever since I was a kid, I always wrote songs on my own, and then I would start playing in bands. And I had that dynamic where you write songs with other people. And then just when I started Southern Gothic, I had been in a lot of other people's bands. And I decided this was going to be my band, and I was going to write the songs. And so, I made the switch to really writing all the songs myself. And then and then I got introduced to the Nashville way, where you sit in the room with all these different people and you write the songs together. So I've been through all the kind of different phases of songwriting: the band style and the solo style, and then the collaborative Nashville style, and they all work, and they're all valid ways to do it. So I was happy to be able to experience all of that.
That's awesome. I love that. And where do you draw the inspirations for the song, and what's your creative process?
Inspiration can come from anywhere, like just like a silly thing that I hear somebody say, or sometimes it'll come from me like misreading a T-shirt. There was one song I wrote recently. Somebody walked by with a T-shirt, and I was like, "Oh, that's a really funny thing." And then he walked back by, and I was like, "Oh, that's not what it says." But the thing that I thought it said, I went home and wrote a song about it. So inspiration can come from anywhere. Personal experiences, seeing other people's experiences, imagined experiences. It can come from anywhere.
That's awesome.
What was the other half of the question?
What's your creative process?
For me, it's almost always lyrics first. Every once in a while I'll just have a melody and I'll write something to the melody, but most of the time I'll have a good start on my lyrics before I start trying to put it to music.
That's amazing. And when you have an idea for a song and you want it to be a co-write, like how do you decide that this person is going to be perfect for this song? How do you choose your co-writing partner for that song?
Well, I think especially after you've written with somebody a few times, what their strong suits are. And when I get into a room with writer A, I kind of know what he's about. And so I'll pitch him these ideas that I think are good for him. And then I'll write with writer B, and it's like, she's better at traditional kind of sounding country. So I'll pitch her the ideas that seem like they could go that direction.
Do you have like a set of people that you write with always?
Not always, but I have people that I write with more often than the others. We all go out to the west part of the U.S. once a year and go up on a mountain and spend a week writing songs. And honestly, most of the songs from Burning Moonlight came from one of those last couple of retreats out to the mountain.
That's amazing. That's so awesome to know. Okay, so out of all the songs that you have out now, which one was the hardest to write it, and why?
Oof. Let's see here. I feel like all those songs came pretty. I guess I would have to say it's Past Midnight, because that song went through a lot of different versions before we got to the final one.
Wow.
Yeah, we started with some that were just more like one guitar and a banjo, and then we moved to like the more straight ahead rock thing, and then it, as you've heard, it sort of ended up in like pop territory. So that one was a long evolution. It took us a year to get that one where we wanted it.
Wow, that's amazing. That's crazy. How long did it take for you to finish all the songs on Burning Moonlight?
They were written over the course of a couple of years, along with a million other songs. We recorded it in 6 days. Yeah.
Wow, the whole EP?
Yeah. A day for something about that. Yeah.
That's incredible. Okay, so you have written like thousands of songs by now. So how did you choose that 6 songs is going to be in the Burning Moonlight EP? Like, how do you choose those?
It was hard. In the end, it came down to, I thought that if you listen to those songs, especially if you started at track number 2, listen through the end and then go back to number 1, it felt like it was a story. A story about the life cycle of a relationship, and starting off with Past Midnight, where you're just meeting somebody, and you move on to Ain't Gonna Lie, where you're falling for them, and then Up on Your Love, where you're falling in love, and Classic, where you've been together forever, and then Gravity, where things start to go bad, and then Villain, where things are over.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
that's so interesting.
In response to a question that's popped through on the chat, I write songs mostly with the idea of other artists cutting them. All 6 of these songs that are on the record, were initially, written to pitch to other artists. Classic has been cut twice by other artists, and they didn't, nothing much happened with them. So I felt okay putting it on there. And the rest of these were all things that were pitched and either didn't get picked up or got picked up and never got released by other artists. So, these are definitely like the 6 that I felt were the strongest at the time. I think they all had a chance, with other artists along the way.
Wow. And when you write for other artists, do you already have that artist in mind while writing, or do you decide the artist after writing?
Sometimes, when I was full-time writing, when I was at the publishing company and I wasn't touring, we definitely wrote more with somebody in mind. We'd come in and they'd have a sheet for us every week and say, these are the bands, these are the artists that are looking for songs. These are the songs they're looking for. This guy's looking for something up-tempo. This woman's looking for something in a ballad or a duet. And so you go in the room with your co-writers and you try to write that song. But since I haven't been at the publishing company, since I've been focusing more on Southern Gothic and on my stuff, now it's just going in there and writing the best song we can, no matter who we think it's for, whether it's for us or somebody else.
That's so true. And how do you deal with writer's block? Like, have you ever faced writer's block, and how do you deal with it?
Yeah, actually, our one big hit, Sheets Down, from New Hometown was kind of a response to like the worst writer's block I'd ever had. I got in the car. I hadn't been able to write anything for weeks, and I got in the car and started driving. And hours later, I was pulled over to fill the car up with petrol, and I'm trying to figure out. I was like, okay, where am I going? Because I'm far. I'm 4 hours from home now, and stopped. And I don't know if it's the same in India, but when you go into the big petrol stations here, they have a giant map up on the wall, so you got to see where you are and like where the roads, where the highways are going. And so I walked in and I'm looking at the map on the wall, and I saw, man, it's only another 2 hours to New Orleans. And so I decided to go to New Orleans. And yeah, it was a beautiful day. I had music pumping, I had the windows down, and everything was great. And got to New Orleans, got myself a hotel. I went and dropped my bag, my little duffel bag off in the hotel, and decided to go down to the French Quarter. And this beautiful day all day, I walk out of the hotel room, take 2 steps, and it starts pouring on me. I'm like, oh, I drove all this way, and now I'm standing in the rain. So I walk, continue walking. I go down to the French Quarter, and I see this couple, and they are really like kissing really intensely under a street lamp. And I saw them and noticed that, and I moved on. And hour and a half later, I walk into another bar, and the couple is standing there. And this couple is like, now the woman was definitely older than the man, and the man being the younger of the two was, I'd guess, I don't know, 70 years old. And these two, they were just really very physically affectionate for a couple in their 70s. It was very surprising. And I'd had a few drinks, and so I went up and I asked him. I was like, "Hey, what's the deal here? Is this like a late in life marriage? Is like are you cheating on your wife with her? Like what's up with the passion at 75?" And luckily, they were nice about it, because they definitely didn't have to be. That's not how I'd want to be approached. But they were nice, and the woman laughed it off, and she's like, "Oh, no." She's like, "Actually, today's our 45th wedding anniversary, and we had our first kiss under that street lamp, and you just happened to like catch the anniversary kiss." And I was like, "Well, that's it." And I went back to the hotel and I wrote Sheets Down, and it became my only number one that I ever had.
That is so incredible. That's amazing.
Writer's block ended up working out for me that time.
That's the coolest writer's block ever. You end up in New Orleans without even knowing. That's incredible. That's awesome. Okay, so can you give us a little insight of how it is with Southern Gothic in a recording studio? Like, what do you guys do? Like, do you guys just Are you all serious? Are you goofing around? How long does it take for
Yeah,
you
I mean,
guys to
it'll all
finish
be
one song?
serious, and it'll all be serious until we get the basic tracks done, and then after that,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we're all really, really good friends. We all have a good time, and we like to, cut loose and get weird. And the studio, especially now that Quinn's been playing with us the past few years, Quinn is a master in the studio. He's an incredible producer, and it's just such an asset to have. And Quinn plays the bass guitar for us, but he played all the guitar solos on this record. He's such an amazing guitar
Wow.
player, banjo player, drummer, doesn't matter. So, we get in there and we get the important stuff done, get it locked down, and then we get weird. We're like, what would happen if we did this? And we try something strange. And, and it's usually Quinn that's doing it because he's the one with the skills to do it. So yeah, that's kind of our process.
That's awesome.
We put our head down and get the important stuff done, and then
That's
move
awesome.
on from there.
When you guys are goofing around and the Quinn comes up with something strange, has that made it to the final record anytime?
Yeah. I mean, it's just usually little stuff, like, well, Up on Your Love, that song in general, the whole song is not how it started off. Like I said, the version I sent you is a lot closer to what it used to sound like. And we went in there like, what would happen if we did it like all electronic sounding, and we did it and Quinn
Wow.
bass, and we were like, yeah, that's kind of cool. Let's try that. So that one, that was like version 2. Version 1 didn't make the record. The whole weird second version made the record instead.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's incredible. And have you guys like ever changed a name for the song during the recording process?
Oh yeah, for sure. My friend Angie had a big hit with Faith Hill years back called "Cry." And it was a huge hit. It was #1 record for him. And so, based on his success, he wrote a couple songs for Miley Cyrus too. And based on his success, I always take his advice. And there's a song on New Hometown, and it used to be called "See Right Through." And we played it at a show, and Angie was there, and I was having some drinks after with Angie, and he's like, "Hey, what's that song called?" And he like sang the melody. I'm like, "Oh, it's called "See Right Through." He's like, "No." He's like, "That song's called The Light." He's like, "It's more direct. It's gonna catch people's attention. You need to call it The Light." And we were in the studio, like at that time recording, and the more I thought about it, I was like, "The Light, yeah, let's call it The Light." So Angie renamed my song for me. But yeah, we're usually pretty open to things changing. We had a song that was called Moonshine Georgia, and when we recorded it, everybody kept calling it Georgia Moonshine, and we were like, let's not make it confusing. Let's just call it Georgia Moonshine. So we did that. So it happens from time to time. I try not to be too precious about my songs and what's in them, and try to be open to change.
That's awesome. That's incredible. And coming to touring, you obviously toured so much, like you said, 2,000 shows. So how did the whole touring experience begin for you as an artist?
Man, the touring, my first tour was when I was 17, and my favorite rock band at the time came through Atlanta where I was living, and I got a chance to hang out and talk with one of the members of the band, and I gave him my demo tape, and he's like, "Cool, the thing you do when a 17-year-old gives you his demo tape." And I'm sure it was bad. I don't have a copy of it, but I'm sure that demo was terrible. But sure enough, 6 days later, we got a call and said, "Hey, one of the bands on the tour, the singer fell off stage and broke his leg, and they can't finish the tour, and we've got 6 dates left and 9 dates left, and can you come and be on the tour and finish the thing?" Yeah. It's like, "Can you be in Florida tonight?" Yeah, we'll be there. So we packed up.
Cool.
We didn't have a van or anything. We hadn't toured outside of our hometown, and we all piled into, our guitar player had a Volvo, and our bass player had the tiniest little Honda 2-door, and the four of us packed all our stuff into these 2 cars.
Wow.
Drove 8 hours to the gig. We had to go pick our bass player up from work, and he was the manager of a fish market. And so the whole way to Florida, we were in this tiny car, and he just smells like dead fish. It was that was my first day on tour in my life. So that's how it started.
Wow. That's crazy. And what about you guys as Southern Gothic? Like, do you guys remember the first show you guys performed at?
Not really. I don't, because it's hard to remember when it changed from Princess to Southern Gothic.
Mm-hmm.
I guess when we got a fiddle player, probably. I do. Yeah. I mean, I remember some of the early shows. I remember some specific shows that when things got crazy. And one in Orlando, I remember specifically. We went and got on opening for a bigger band, and our tiny little bass guitar player at the time picked a fight with this giant man, and we all had to like stave him. Like all three of us come like running and pulling him away. We're like, please don't hit him. He doesn't. He's drinking. We're taking him. We're taking him. Don't hit him. So I remember that one pretty vividly. That was one of the first Southern Gothic shows.
Wow.
But
Way to go.
but yeah,
Way to remember that.
Well, with the band that sort of morphed into Southern Gothic, we started off as a rock cover band.
Mm-hmm.
So we were doing 6 nights a week, just all over the states. And then while we were doing that, it's kind of like that was our day job, and then the Southern Gothic was our little side gig. And then at some point it started going where here's the cover gigs and here's the Southern Gothic gigs, and at some point the cover gigs went away. So I don't really know what day that was, but it was a slow process for us getting there.
That's awesome. And do you guys have like a favorite venue that you performed at?
This place called the Windjammer in Charleston, South Carolina. Love that place. The pageant in St. Louis was incredible. Well, I would say we did a festival in Chicago, and when we came on stage, there was 31,000 people in front of the stage. So
Wow.
that was definitely my favorite day. It wasn't really a venue; it was a festival, but that was my favorite day for sure.
That's incredible. 31,000 people. Oh my God,
Yeah,
that's
it was great.
crazy.
It was great, and I got booed by those 31,000 people too. So
What?
yeah, I was trying to hurry because we only had 40-minute set, and I wanted to keep going, and so I was trying to hurry, and I picked up and had a drink of my beer, and I put it down, and it spilled, and for some reason the guy operating the big giant mega screens on the side of the stage decided to zoom in on my beer spilling everywhere, and so 30,000 people started booing me. So I just stepped up to the front of the stage. I was like, "Come on, let's have it. Bring it. Let me have it." Okay, cool. Hey, you got it out of your system. Okay, here we go. Now we're gonna play another song. So, but yeah, that was definitely the most fun day I can remember.
That's amazing. Do you have like a favorite venue in Nashville that you played at?
The local is a great venue. With Nashville, it's a lot of tiny bars and stuff like that, but a lot of them, they concentrate on the cover bands, and we don't really do that. So we don't play a lot in Nashville. But the local's a really cool place. The High Watt, Mercy Lounge, those are all real cool.
That's awesome. Do you guys have like a bucket list venue that you want to perform at?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on like how wild we're getting. Wembley would be my number one
Wow.
choice. Red Rocks out in Colorado would probably be my number one U.S. choice that I haven't done
I
yet.
actually saw that coming.
Yeah, Hollywood Bowl too.
That's amazing. That's awesome. Okay, someone says you should visit India. You are so much fun.
I would love to. Yeah, I'd love to. If there are enough venues doing country music there or Americana or whatever, I will be there.
I am trying my best.
I see that, and I appreciate it. That's why I'm here.
That's awesome. I love that. Okay, so do you have like a crazy fan encounter that you can share with us over the years?
I don't know, like, not really. We've been lucky enough to make friends with so many of our fans.
Mm-hmm.
This week, actually, I'm having a little vacation at the lake here. You can't see it, but it's a lovely lake back
Wow.
there. That I'm hanging out with a bunch of friends that I met them, at our shows, and they've become really good friends. And we've been
That's
lucky
amazing.
enough to just make so many of those friends. As far as a fan thing, we definitely became known as a drinking band, and everybody, so it would be a thing where people always bring us shots of alcohol to the stage. And we did a show in 2015, and we recorded it and made a DVD, and
Mm-hmm.
it was 800,000 seats, and it was sold out, and people kept bringing us liquor, and there's only so much you can do. And so, you had to try to, drink it or whatever. And then we just kept stashing it. And at the end of the show that night, there was 61 shots that hadn't been touched that we didn't drink.
Wow.
Just lined up behind the drummers. So we have a great picture of this great empty venue, and then just rows and rows and rows of unused, undrunken liquor. So
That's crazy.
yeah, so that was a kind of a crazy fan experience, sort of.
That's amazing. I actually was listening to one of your live songs, and you guys have the best energy on stage. That gave me goosebumps, the way you were rocking it out there. It was like an audio on Spotify, one of your live songs, and I loved it. And
Well,
you said, let's start the show with a shot of whiskey.
yeah, that sounds like me. Yeah. Yeah, there's
That's awesome.
definitely been times that's come back to haunt me later on in the show, but it's oof, this show's gone on for a really long time. I've had a lot of those shots of whiskey, so yeah, it's come back to haunt me once or twice. But for the most part, we try to make sure, the band changes all the time. You might come see us and there's 5 of us, or there might be 4 of us. We might be doing a more bluegrass show this week and a more rock show this week, and no matter what we do, we try to make sure the energy is always high. Even if we're all playing acoustic instruments at that show, we try to make sure that we feel, we bring the energy the same, whether we're playing a stadium or we're playing a little bar. And and I think it comes across. I think people feel it, whether they're there or
It sure
listening on
does.
Spotify later.
It sure does. I can vouch for that. And before the show, what do you guys do? What's your post-show pre-show rituals?
For me, I'm back there doing vocal warm-ups. It's just dirty stuff, I've learned my lesson, and I try to eat before the show, because you mix that constant whiskey barrage with not eating, and it can become a problem. So I try to catch a little small dinner before the show, and then I'll spend the 45 minutes leading up to showtime doing warm-ups, and then we'll all get together and do some, do a harmony check and make sure we're all on with each other and that kind of thing.
That's amazing. And what about post-show? What do you guys do after a show?
I can't talk about that in front of people.
Yes, you can.
No, you have to be there to experience yourself. You have to see what happens after the show.
One day.
Yes, no, we all sign non-disclosure agreements. We can't talk about it.
Okay, one day I'm gonna hold you to that when I visit you guys and
Sounds
see
good.
your live
Sounds
show.
good.
Awesome. And do you have a favorite song of yours to perform live? Favorite original?
There's one off. It's actually not an original, but it was on New Hometown. Bound for Glory. I love that one. 16 bars. That one's usually gets the crowd going, and that one's usually the most fun. Probably 16 bars.
That's such a banger. That's amazing. That's
Yeah,
an awesome song.
Yeah, it's funny.
And
years after that song came out, somebody sent me a YouTube link, and 5 years after the release of that song, it became the #1 line dancing song in Spain for some reason. So there's all of these YouTube videos of people at in Spain, they have country bars, but it's cowboy bars, everybody's wearing this huge hat and whatever. And so there's all these YouTube videos of just rooms full of Spaniards in cowboy hats dancing, doing line dances to the
Wow.
16 bars. It was a real surprise, but it's cool. I love it. It's amazing.
That's incredible. That's awesome. And do you have like any upcoming shows that you want people to know about?
Yeah, we got two this month. Kind of getting our feet wet again. We're gonna play in Atlanta and then in Hilton Head. But the real tour is gonna start. We'll start in August with a few more, and then September it really starts. Come the fall, we're doing a bunch of festivals and headlining a couple of them,
Wow.
so we'll be all over the place starting in the fall. But just right now, we're gonna we're just doing a couple, kind of getting used to being back out there on stage, and also just making sure it's safe. We don't want to go out there, and we don't want to have another lockdown here. I know a lot of the world is still under lockdown, and we're lucky enough to have most of the people in our area have been vaccinated, and we feel cautiously optimistic. We feel safe enough that we can go out and do a few shows, but we're not up to going into the big venues where people are going to be packed in and stuff like that yet. We want to save that for the fall.
That's amazing. And what's your favorite part about being an artist?
It's at the same time my favorite and least favorite part is that there's no right answer. It's you try something new, and I love that there's no right answer, and you can try anything, but also it keeps you always searching because there's no right answer. So you keep trying.
True. That's so true.
Even when you've gotten something that seems like the right answer, you're still like, well, what if I did this other thing? So I love that weird juxtaposition.
That's so true. And what do you guys love to do the most as a band, other than performing and doing music as a band?
It's usually comedy related. On the last tour, we would listen to the radio until a song came on that one of us had an idea with, and then we would rewrite the lyrics to all the song to make it funny.
Oh, well, that's so much fun.
Yeah, but it was only funny to us. It was super dumb. Like it was all like dumb jokes between us. But that was our something we did on the last tour. But we all really we love listening to stand-up comedy, and we all think that we're funny. We're probably not, but
I'm sure you guys are.
Say for us like that. If we've got a day off, we'll usually go and play basketball, or maybe if it's the weather is not going to work for that, we'll go bowling or something indoors. But we all try to stay active. We're all try to stay fit and that kind of thing. So that's definitely something that takes up a lot of our off time on the road.
That's awesome. And looking forward 5 years from now, where would you want to see yourself?
Oh, I'd love to be spending 3 or 4 months a year touring, 3 or 4 months a year writing songs for other artists, and then the remaining time at the lake, or at the beach, or in the mountains, or someplace where I can just enjoy myself.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And do you have like a fun fact of you and the band that nobody knows? Can you share like a fun fact?
Oh boy. I don't know. Can't think of anything. Can't think of anything right off the top of my head. I'm sure there's. Oh, okay. Well, here's one. Joe, our old bass player, our original bass player, had to leave the band for a couple of months. This is years ago, and we had a guy filling in, and everybody kept asking about Joe. We're like, "Oh, Joe's coming back. Joe's coming back." But what actually happened is Joe's got this little bitty Chihuahua, and he was out walking the Chihuahua, and a stray dog that was off the leash came around the corner and grabbed the Chihuahua, and Joe, and this is like a pit bull, like a really dangerous dog, and Joe grabbed the pit bull and pulled his mouth open to get his dog out, and he got the dog out, saved the dog, but then the pit bull closed his mouth and it got Joe's thumb up to here and bit it off. So Joe had to take a couple of months back then to heal and then to learn to play again without his
Wow.
thumb, or without
Oh
that,
my
you
God.
know, the important part of the thumb, you know. So
That's
so you know, at the
crazy.
time he was a little, you know, he was a little sensitive about it, so we didn't tell anybody why he was not there, but that was why. So there's a little secret fact.
Wow.
8 years later.
Oh my God.
A question from
There's
the
a
chat
question.
was who's my '70s inspiration? Well,
Mm-hmm.
for me, I definitely say Elton John is my inspiration, like always. But also, I'd say Jim Croce is a close second. And then Quinn's dad, our bass player Quinn, his dad had a bunch of hits in the '70s. His name is
Wow.
Dave Loggins, and he had his biggest hit was called "Come to Boston." It was a big country hit, and then Tim McGraw cut it in the '90s. And so you know, him being around a lot, obviously he's an inspiration, you know, in that way as well.
That's amazing. That's awesome. And before I let you go, I want to know, like, what's the best advice you've ever received?
Well, I'll tell you, as far as Nashville and as far as songwriting,
Mm-hmm.
somebody
Mm-hmm.
told me real early on, dare to be stupid. And it sounds like a weird bit of advice, but when you're sitting there and you're trying to write a song and you're trying to get it right, and you're also worried about trying to be cool and not say anything that somebody might laugh at, man, it you know, it really it hampers you. It's like trying to do something with one hand tied behind your back if you're always worried about being cool. So that writer, you know, is a much older guy. He was in his 60s, and he'd had a lot of hits. And he's like, "Listen, man," he's like, "you can't be shy. You gotta just dare to be stupid. Say the thing that's in your mind, and it's probably not the right thing, but one of these days it's gonna be the right thing. And if you don't say it, you're gonna miss it." So, you know, all in all, telling me to, you know, take my ego and stuff it in a sack, and that was the best advice I ever got, because it helps me get out of my head, and I've passed that advice on to a lot of really young writers that are just coming to Nashville. I'm like, look, man, it's 9:30 in the morning and you're fully dressed to go on stage, but you're not willing to like say the thing that's in your head. It's like, worry less about what you're wearing to the right and about looking cool, and just say the thing that you're thinking. And yes, like I said, it's probably not the right thing, but it might be. So it's worth throwing it out there.
I love that. Thank you so much. And is there anything else that you want to add that I might have missed out on?
I don't think so. You know, anybody listening, if you're digging it, please, you know, sign up for the channels, for the YouTube channel and the, you know, Facebook, Instagram, all that, so we can keep you up to date on what's happening with us. That new version, the bluegrass version of Up on Your Love with Old Crow Medicine Show, that should be coming out on Spotify July 9th.
Okay.
That's the new thing.
Not far off. That's amazing. Thank you so much, Connor. It was amazing chatting with you. You're amazing. And I'll be on the lookout, and I look forward to more music and more interviews like this.
Well, I sure appreciate you having me, and I look forward to doing it again.
Of course. And
right.
Have a nice day. Have a great weekend.
Thanks. You too. Bye, everybody.
Bye. So that was Connor Christian of the Southern Gothic, guys. Go give the band a follow. They're incredible. Check out their music, which is available on all streaming platforms. And while you're there, make sure to follow the artist page so that you're up to date with their releases. And thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Scarlett, River Management, and Rachel and team. You guys are incredible. Thank you so much for helping me set this up. And I'll see you guys next week. Thank you so much.